The weather forecast with Akenogaz.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and quite a pleasure to have you join me again on the weather forecast. I hope you're having a beautiful evening. Tonight, we expect a heavy downpour in some parts of the nation, like the southwest, west, and the Adamawa regions. We expect minimum temperature at 18 degrees in the northwest region, as low as 19 in the littoral, with the center, south, and east regions expecting as low as 21 degrees, and the north and far north regions may get temperatures as low as 26 degrees. Now we take you to the southwest, where this evening is heavy rainfall expected in all the major towns of the region, and by morning it will be exactly the same experience in the entire southwest region. Now we go over to the west, where tonight there will be a heavy downpour in the entire region, and by morning it will be exactly the same experience with temperatures as low as 18 degrees. And lastly, in the Adamawa region tonight, there will be heavy rainfall in all the regions except Fungaundere, and by morning, it will rain heavily in the entire region. Now, to protect yourself and others against the coronavirus, you should avoid greeting by handshakes and, of course, keep a 1 meter distance. And in case of symptoms, call 1510. Good night.
Sensitization campaigns on the novel coronavirus intensify in Douala ahead of the general screening exercise to be launched in the region. Community health agents team up with local authorities to encourage the population to participate in the battle against the pandemic. Pupils and students of examination classes nationwide will from this Monday receive lessons on CRTV's radio and television airways from selected teachers in Yaoundé. CRTV's management is set with makeshift studios for the exercise. Plus, religious authorities celebrate Palm Sunday in Cameroon amidst government's measures with calls on Christians to remain steadfast as they check the COVID-19 pandemic. And those are top stories. Good evening. Thanks for joining us on the 7:30 News with me, Gladys Tata. The Cameroon Radio Television CRTV will from this Monday begin a live broadcast on radio and television with special classes for pupils and students in examination classes to enable them better prepare for their end-of-course examinations. Baldwin Sama watched the last-minute preparations at the makeshift studios and reports that all is set for the start of the classes this Monday.
A makeshift CRTV studio for special TV and radio programs with different stakeholders involved in the production of these special classes, working on key details before the start of the program this Monday. An initiative of the Cameroon Radio Television in partnership with the Ministries of Basic and Secondary Education, there will be 7 hours of teaching on national television and 5 hours of teaching on national radio for both primary and secondary education. Producers and technicians of CRTV production this Sunday consulted with some basic education teachers on how to successfully kickstart such a laudable initiative this Monday.
With instructions from the Director General, CRTV production put in place the necessary material, human, and expertise for the realization of this, such that our pupils and students who are at home can continue learning from a distance.
Even though the children are on holidays, but the Ministry of Basic Education deemed it necessary to accompany them with the 10% of the work that was left undone.
Education through CRTV will be broadcast live daily on national television from 8:30 a.m. to 11:30 and in the afternoon from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. On national radio, it will be broadcast daily from 8:30 a.m. to midday and in the afternoon from 3:30 p.m. to 5 p.m. daily. Pupils and students are informed that broadcasts will be on national television, the national radio, YouTube CRTV web, Facebook CRTV web, and the CRTV website, with the 2 systems of education each given a pride of place from Monday to Saturday.
On Monday, you have the French-speaking subsystem of education. On Tuesday, the English-speaking subsystem. and it continues like that. And it covers all the levels, primary, secondary, and high school.
Education through CRTV will be that answer to worries of pupils and students of examination classes as they stay home and prepare for the examinations.
President Paul Biya has continued to give directives in Cameroon's efforts to fight against the COVID-19 pandemic. On Saturday, the president dispatched the Minister of State, Secretary General of the Presidency, Ferdinand Gongo, to visit some of the centers in Yaoundé expected to receive the growing number of infected persons across the city. Chief Unity Palace correspondent Ashun Yenti has the details.
Even before the first case of COVID-19 broke out in Cameroon, President Paul Biya had taken a full measure of the pandemic with his substantial assistance of 50 million francs CFA to some 300 Cameroonians caught in the COVID-19 quarantine in China. This involvement became incisive as soon as Cameroon started registering its first cases, mainly from persons who had traveled abroad. The president took a number of measures which were materialized by the government of Prime Minister Joseph Diongute. President Paul Biya from the very beginning adopted an anticipatory management procedure of the virus, adapting his strategy to the factual parameters of the virus on Cameroonian soil, giving the necessary instructions where appropriate. Every day the president is briefed in the morning and in the evening on the evolution of the pandemic in Cameroon. His response is thus based on these field reports. It is in this light that with an upsurge of cases of the disease, now numbering 3 digits, President Paul Biya has decided to set up centers that will receive patients as the numbers keep growing. This Saturday, the president dispatched the Minister of State, Secretary General of the Presidency, Ferdinand Gongo, to visit these centers at the National Emergency Center, the military stadium, and another site at Mvongbi to look at the accommodation capacities of the centers. The establishment of these centers is evidence that Cameroon's strategy against COVID-19 is unfolding under the close supervision and direct marksmanship of the Chief Executive, President Paul Biya.
And on to one of our lead story, a screening campaign to detect carriers of the coronavirus has been launched today in Douala 2 subdivision. It was launched by the Inspector General at the Littoral Governor's Office, Abubakar Njikam, in the presence of the city mayor and other local authorities and medical experts. The screening exercise in the Douala 2 Council was also characterized by a sensitization campaign on the importance of respecting hygiene measures. Madon Kwele tells us more.
These sound horns from commercial motorbike riders of Douala 2 are to appreciate the face mask and vest given them to wear during this crucial period. This as a means to protect themselves and create more awareness on the need to stay safe from the COVID-19 epidemic. The materials donated by the Douala City Mayor and the Douala 2 Council Mayor, Denise Fampo, were in a bid to launch the screening campaign that will enable detect carriers of the coronavirus in the subdivision.
We are cleaning gutters, removing waste, disinfecting buildings. People can wash their hands frequently thanks to the water points put in place at every corner. We will distribute masks in other subdivisions for people to constantly wear them. These basic tips will help limit the propagation of COVID-19.
Medical experts discussed on the door-to-door screening campaign that will be carried out by some recruited community health agents.
We have community health agents in each neighborhood who will ask a number of questions to households with the use of questionnaires. In case of signs and symptoms of the coronavirus, the agents will alert the rapid intervention teams from health district units.
The authorities have stressed on the need for people to continuously respect the hygienic measures prescribed for their safety and that of others.
We stay in the littoral region where vendors and buyers of the Douala 5 municipality have been sensitized on the importance of a clean environment amidst the COVID-19 pandemic. This was during a sterilization campaign organized by the mayor of the council, Rishan Fengguang, and his team. During the exercise, different market squares in the locality were equally sanitized. Christelle Mfo, journalist student on internship, reports from CRTV Littoral in Douala.
It was a relatively calm Thursday in most markets in the Douala 5 municipality as the sellers and buyers were absent, giving room for the market to be disinfected. The exercise began at the Bonamusari market, then continued to Dubobal, Misoke, Sitesik, and other markets in the subdivision. According to the mayor of Douala 5, the disinfection process is in a bid to assist government combat the deadly COVID-19.
We decided to disinfect these markets because we realized that there are areas where people can easily be contaminated, and it's our own way of assisting the government in this fight.
During the exercise, a section for the sale of meat at the Dublobal market in Bepanda was destroyed as the area was regarded unfit to harbor such activity.
We realized that a proper disinfection process can only be possible if a market is clean. So we have decided to destroy this meat section and will build a conducive one that will not only facilitate the protection of sellers but also buyers.
The disinfection process enabled the mayor and his team to take note of some abnormalities in the markets, such as poor drainage systems and the haphazard construction of sheds, to which concrete solutions have been promised in the days ahead. The inhabitants of the subdivision were also sensitized on how they can protect themselves from the coronavirus through the distribution of flyers.
The East Regional Delegation of Public Health has mounted a screening post at Bonis to test passengers coming from Yaoundé of the COVID-19. Apart from screening, health personnel of the region equally disinfect public transport vehicles and sensitize them on how to prevent contamination of the virus. Tala LT has the details from CRTV East in Bertoua.
The procedure is simple and compulsory for everyone, be it on board private cars or public transport buses from Yaoundé. Control your temperature and disinfect your hands before crossing the security control post at Bonis, the main entrance to the city of Bertoua. Since Yaoundé was declared the epicenter of this epidemic in Cameroon, it is important to check everyone who lives that part of the country for the East region. At the makeshift screening post, trained health personnel work day and night to prevent the coronavirus from entering Bertoua. The COVID-19 screening post in Bonis goes beyond screening passengers. The health personnel also sensitize travelers on proper hygiene measures to adopt so as to bar the way to the coronavirus. While the passengers are being controlled, a health personnel disinfects the bus with a chlorine solution before it continues its journey.
Over in the northwest region, traders of the Bamenda main market and other commercial centers controlled by the Bamenda City Council will not pay rents for 2 months with effect from this April 2020. Announcing the decision to CRTV, the city mayor of Bamenda, Paul Achobong, explained that the resolution is to lighten the burden of the traders at the difficult moment. Details with our Northwest Bureau correspondent, Gonige Shwaibu Shari.
The decision to grant 2 months of rent exoneration to traders at the Bamenda main market and those at the Nkwen, Ntarikon and Fort markets is not by accident.
Ghost towns have plagued them. They have a serious challenge making ends meet. Now we equally put into consideration the advent of this triple jeopardy, which is the coronavirus.
The city mayor has assured that traders who have already paid their rents beyond the months of April and May will be taken into consideration. Even the petty traders of those markets have not been forgotten.
The petty traders who come to sell one thing or the other and they pay 100 francs or 200 francs toll on every market day they come, that one will not be equally paid for a period of 2 months, that is April and May.
The Bamenda City Mayor has also, by this token, enjoined the traders to intensify the fight against the coronavirus in their milieu, given that not all the markets in Bamenda are controlled by the City Council. The Bamenda City Mayor has expressed the wish that the mayors of Bamenda 1, 2 and 3 subdivisions will also follow his footstep.
A health and sensitization post to curb the spread of the coronavirus has been installed at the Mongo Bridge entrance to the southwest region through the economic capital, Douala. This was under the supervision of Southwest Governor Bernard Okalia-Bilai, among other health officials, as we hear in the following report with Regina Ngalendoko from CRTV Southwest in Boya.
The entrance of COVID-19 cases into the southwest region has been put on check, and Governor Bernard Okalebila is at the fore to ensure that those getting into the region respect the required norms.
We know it is not comfortable to wear a mask, but we must know that it is an obligation to protect our lives and to protect the lives of our dear ones. As from Monday, those who will be visiting the public services should wear a mask.
The creation of a quarantine center in the Tiko subdivision has been facilitated with the offering of a clinic yet to go operational at the disposal of the government.
We want to appeal the other elites to follow this good example. This is the infrastructure. When people will be sent here for quarantine, they will need some other commodities, and it's the common effort that can help the administration to face this responsibility.
The population of the southwest region has been called to denounce family members, friends and neighbors who escape from quarantine.
Some bar owners in the West region, precisely in Bafoussam neighborhoods, have been arrested for operating after the stipulated 6 p.m. It was during a surprise tour of Governor Awa Fonka Augustine in some neighborhoods of the town Saturday evening. Ngu Henry has more from Bafoussam.
As the government intensifies campaigns to curb the spread of the COVID-19 in the country, most Bafoussam city dwellers do not respect the measures. Reason why by 7 p.m. one can still find people crowded in drinking spots and even markets. During the tour of some of the neighborhoods in Bafoussam, the West Chief Executive saw things for himself. It was business as usual at the Aqua neighborhood, the entrance to the main market, and the Total and Auberge roundabouts. The governor instructed the forces of law and order to arrest some of the bar owners and close the nocturnal markets.
They should go home and save themselves from this pandemic as well as saving others. Through this irresponsible behavior, whereby they are carrying, still overloading, whereby they are still out at above 6 o'clock, whereby they are still drinking above 6 o'clock, is unacceptable.
He has instructed the forces to intensify the campaign in the region.
The population of Bazou subdivision in the West region have resolved to bar the road against any COVID-19 entry. Their stance was reiterated after a door-to-door sensitization Saturday led by elites and council authorities. Larry Efande was in Bafoussam. He brought back this report for the 7:30 news.
In accents loud and clear, this mobile team combs every street in the entire Bazou subdivision in the country's West region. They keep them on alert. The coronavirus COVID-19 is real. Elites, municipal and administrative authorities, and the forces of law and order seem to be on their toes.
Really to respect all the barrier method put in place by the government to try to fight against this pandemic.
We come today to try to sensibilize our people, to tell them how to live with this pandemic.
This is the entry into the subdivision. No mistakes as the stakes are high. You must have your temperature check and grab one of the 5,000 available nose masks here for distribution. It's a busy weekend, and so the thousands who throng here for different reasons are brought under the infrared reading.
It's time enough for the mobile caravan team to bring about the sensitization here and ensure that COVID-19 doesn't get to this part of the Ndé division.
It's the start of an endless battle against the pandemic. Every weekend we see these checks.
We now move to the Public Health Emergency Operations Center, where our reporter Gilbert Ongene is standing by live. Hello, Gilbert. We know the latest say there are 650 cases of infected today in Cameroon, 17 recoveries and 9 deaths. But apart from this, Gilbert, you tell us that there is one baby born of a coronavirus mother, but the baby is coronavirus free. Hello, Gilbert.
Hello, Gladys Tata. Welcome to the Public Health Emergency Operations Center, where we are, of course, with Dr. Eric Tandy, who is our resource person for today. What is the big news of today? We hear there's a lady who was on isolation who put to birth.
Yeah, actually, it's good news, and not only good news to Cameroon alone, but good news globally, because this is the first case we've recorded in Cameroon of a pregnant lady under isolation that put to birth a bouncing baby that is healthy and living and without the COVID-19 disease.
Okay, so you are reassuring Cameroonians out there that there's no mother-to-child transmission of this disease?
Of course, yes, definitely, because this case has proved it, and it's very clear.
Now, doctor, what are the chances of survival of a patient who is under respiratory assistance?
Yeah, thank you very much. The chances of survival depends on individuals and individual situation. You know, there are many complications that are associated to certain individuals, but if it is only based on COVID-19, following the protocols that the medical team are applying, the chances are very high for the individual to survive.
We know that early diagnosis and, of course, first aid assistance are primordial in every health situation. Is this the case with the coronavirus?
Once there is early diagnosis, there is rapid treatment. So we are avoiding complications that might arise from individuals. So we should not wait until the complications become severe before you notice or you notify yourself to a health facility.
Okay. Now, the people talk of respiratory gear and all of that, which are very lacking in less developed countries like Cameroon and other African countries. How many respiratory apparatus do we have in Cameroon?
Yeah, definitely we can give you to date the details of what is in the field, but what I should tell you is that the Ministry of Public Health has made a request for a number of equipment and services that are being deployed to the regions. I think the contingents of equipment that have been made available will be distributed to the regions in the days ahead.
Millions of Cameroonians who are watching here on CRTV, what advice do you have in relation to the coronavirus pandemic?
Yeah, thank you. I would like to start first with the medical team. Although within before the weekend, we lost one of the health personnel, but we have to continue taking precautions. And, you know, we are at war. The health team is at war. The medical team needs to continue, have the courage, and face the pandemic, and let us put an end to it.
Thank you very much, Dr. Tandy Eric, Gladys Tata. That's a bit we put together for you here, live from the emergency center in Yaoundé. Over to you, studio.
Thank you very much, Gilbert Ongene. Hope we'll be in your company tomorrow again. Face masks, hand sanitizers, and other hygiene equipment now flood the streets and markets in Marwa. Vendors say it is due to the high demand by the population, who are playing a vital role in combating the COVID-19 pandemic and protecting themselves from the infection. Our reporter Joseph Anyang has more in Marwa.
For the past 3 weeks, this has been the main activity of Hamza Adama.
There are all types of buckets designed for hand washing and at different prices. Many customers have been coming to buy daily.
More and more inhabitants of Marwa have been purchasing this article, which facilitates the respect of basic hygiene rules.
Since the start of the pandemic, we have decided to take precautionary measures. That is why we deem it right to buy the bucket, because it is more efficient as water can flow.
Another commodity which attracts huge customership in Marwa is the face mask.
Face masks are abundant here, and we have even sent about 300 to Yaoundé. We sell more than 50 masks a day. I used to buy the mask for 200 francs, but today the price has risen to 1,000 francs.
As measures to stop the propagation of the COVID-19 intensify, vendors in Marwa have diversified their activities with the objective of not only making more profits, but also as their contribution in the implementation of government's response strategy to combat COVID-19.
Over in the East region, the senior divisional officer for the Lom and Jerem, Yves Bertrand Awoufak, has promised to let hell loose on any individual or group of persons who will ignore the COVID-19 measures put in place by government. Flanked by the Lord Mayor of the city of Bertoua, Jean-Marie Dimbele Sodea, the SDO placed hand-washing utensils at some popular points of the city, as Tala LT reports from Bertoua.
The mass anti-COVID-19 campaign in Bertoua kicked off at the modern market in Kolbikon, where hand-washing dispositions were stationed at every entry and exit point of the structure. With a loudspeaker, the SDO for Lom and Jerem, Yves Bertrand Awoufak, and the mayor of the city, Jean-Marie Dimbele Sodea, sensitized Bertoua denizens on the dangers of this epidemic and how it can be prevented. At the Bertoua Motor Park, the campaign team met with agents of the city council disinfecting the area.
To call all the population to respect the prescription given by Prime Minister, head of government, to tell them that every time and everywhere it's good to wash the hand before do anything.
After visiting muster points and some public structures in Bertoua, the SDO promised to spare no effort in sanctioning individuals who will choose to ignore these preventive measures.
Those who will take the risk not to respect this government decision shall then face the necessary administrative sanctions.
At the Bertoua Regional Hospital, the SDO and the team that accompanied him were introduced to a mini factory where face masks are fabricated. These will be distributed to patients and visitors as a means to curb the spread of the COVID-19 in the hospital.
Some municipalities in the Mifi in the West region have benefited from kits to enable them better fight the spread of the COVID-19 in the division. The gesture is that of the business magnate who doubles as the CPDM Senate for Mifi, Sylvestre Ngoshinge. Ngo Henry is a man on that beat in Bafoussam.
The fight against the coronavirus cannot be an affair of the government alone. Business guru who doubles as the CPDM senator for the Mifi has offered kits to some structures in the division to better curb the spread of the pandemic. The largesse of Senator Sylvestre Ngushinga was extended to the three councils of the Mifi, the city council, administrative units, plus palaces in the division. The gifts comprised of gloves, masks, disinfectants, among others. The mayors, heads of administrative units, and the rollers each received the kits and promised judicious use. They all expressed profound gratitude to Senator Sylvestre Ngushinga for the gesture. The city mayor of Bafoussam, Roger Tafang, said he will ensure that all the markets are closed by 4 p.m. and the drinking spots by 6 p.m. in a bid to fight the pandemic. The gesture from Senator Sylvestre Ngushinga came after he had offered the sum of 250 million to the state to fight the coronavirus.
On to COVID-19 news out of the country. The United States of America, Italy and France continue to top the chart with confirmed cases of the COVID-19. As of date, global death toll is at 68,169, and statistics from the World Health Organization indicate that the number of infected persons will continue to exceed the 1 million recorded today. Alice May is keeping tracks with news outside the borders and now reports.
Now records 1,288,963 contaminated cases, while America tops the list with 335,675 cases and 10,189 deaths. Spain follows with 135,350 cases. Italy comes in the third position with 135,264 cases and 16,412 deaths recorded. Other countries like Iran, UK, Turkey, and Netherlands also have contaminated cases. While in Africa, Morocco counts about 1,003 cases and 79 deaths, and Nigeria with 234 cases and 6 deaths. The corona pandemic has a great impact on the world's economy. It has also amplified existing challenges in human labor as supply chains around the world are disrupted.
On to our lead story. Christians nationwide today celebrate Palm Sunday, that is Jesus' triumphant entry into Jerusalem. In some Protestant and Catholic churches in the nation's capital, it was a celebration organized under the strict respect of government measures against the COVID-19 pandemic. Alice Mbe covered the ceremony in some churches in Yaoundé and now reports.
The passion for the entrance into the Holy Week in celebration of the Palm Sunday was marked by praise, worship and swaying of palm branches in honor of Jesus' triumphant entry into Jerusalem. During the performance of the solemn rites, Christians were obliged to respect government's measures to fight against the COVID-19 in the country and to pray for God's intervention.
The Holy Week is, for us, the entrance with Jesus Christ into Jerusalem through the Palm Sunday we hold on hand, where we are going to face his passion, his death, and resurrection. We have taken just few representatives, not more than 50, as the government asks us to do, and to respect the rules of barriers. We celebrated it to give hope and to all Christian unbelievers, to ask for health for all those who are sick, and to kick out of our life this pandemic.
They were encouraged to have faith in God and believe in his healing powers and protection.
We want to tell to all the community that we must not be afraid, to be ensured that if we pray, God will bring the peace in our hearts.
It was a successful celebration as the Christians respected the 1.5-meter strategy and hygiene measures.
Christians were equally told during the day's festivity to remain steadfast in faith and hope as they battle the virus. That was the message given to Christians at the Presbyterian Church EPC Mesa 2 and in Marie Mediatrice Parish in Yaoundé. Gerard Nanji was present and brought back this report.
They waved symbolic palm branches in celebration of Jesus' triumphant entry into Jerusalem. Described as the burden bearer, Christians have been exhorted to cast their burdens onto Jesus. Be it at EPC Mesa 2, Marie Mediatrice Parish Etudi, or at PC Bastos, the message was the same.
This service is coming at a time when we are suffering with the COVID-19, but our prayers and aspiration that we will cast our burden on the burden bearer. Jesus will take the coronavirus to the cross, and when we reach the cross, he will give us his glory and take our sinful lives.
We ask all Christians to be those who are behind Jesus as serious Christians, those who run after him in loving, pardon, and as a son of God.
However, the effervescence that usually envelopes such celebration was low-key, as the churches piously respect government measures to fight against the COVID-19.
The hygienic dispositions have been taken. The social distance is 1.5 meters. And this is, I think, the third service we are doing just with 50 persons for a service that would have been about 4,000 people. And every human being must take responsibility not to be a danger to the life of other people.
As the Christians look with optimism for better days ahead, they are reminded that Jesus Christ remains the solution to their problems, including the COVID-19 pandemic.
Bamenda Christians celebrated Palm Sunday amidst calls to maintain basic hygiene rules. In most of the churches, the Christians respected the basic principles to avoid spreading the virus, as you tell us, Sylvie Banta, in the following report.
Sunday, April 5th, is Palm Sunday, but not a Palm Sunday as usual in churches in Bamenda. The Christians who have defied the odds to attend church services are conscious the need to protect themselves against the coronavirus. Church authorities have also taken certain dispositions.
What the pastors and the elders did is that they print cards made up of 50. When the first 50 gets into all the halls, we stop.
We encourage them to practice social distance in the hall. We have
maximum 3 people per bench.
The Archbishop of Bamenda told his Christians during the Palm Sunday Mass to rely on God for a solution to the current pandemic.
On this Feast of Palm Sunday, when we are celebrating the Passion of our Lord Jesus Christ and we are celebrating his entry into Jerusalem, they should not lose hope.
At Bethlehem Baptist Church Upstation, likewise Presbyterian Church in Tamulung Bamenda, the pastor's messages all anchored on hope and faith in Jesus Christ, their Master, who remains the greatest physician and will bring about lasting solution to the deadly disease.
And away from the COVID-19 pandemic, from road, water and energy projects to boosting the health system to keep up with the COVID-19 threat, a number of works have been targeted to be executed with the 220 billion CFA francs to be raised on the money market this month. Bids have been tendered and the first issuance will take place on April 8th. Clarice Aritakang tells us more.
4 sectors have been earmarked as priorities to receive funding from the fungible treasury bonds. Top on the list is health, given the present global public health agenda.
For health equipment, we have provided 45 billion for equipment of hospitals.
Infrastructural development will also receive a fair share in investments. Construction, rehabilitation and maintenance works will be executed in line with project objectives.
Primarily, 4 sectors are concerned. The first sector is road construction and rehabilitation for 68 billion. The second sector is water and energy. For that, we have the clean water for population. We have the production and transportation of electricity for 38 billion. We have other projects related to the can for 70 billion. We have sanitation equipment for hospitals for 45 billion.
With bids already tendered, the auction for the first issue shall hold on April 8, 2020 for the 5-year maturity, the second issue on 15 April for the 3-year maturity, and the third issue on April 29 for the 2-year maturity.
And it's here we draw the curtains on this edition of the 7:30 News. Thanks for watching. Atabadine Omar will be here at 8:30 with the news in French. Join Ben Menopufong tomorrow, and I'll be here on Friday. Keep the faith. Bye for now. Good night.